bring in our friend Tom Murphy. Tom, do you know who Sonny Jurgensen is? Is he a Redskins quarterback?
He was not. Yeah, he was not.
Okay, that's what I thought. After
I just want to see how far we go with you on that.
Okay, all right, Tom.
Hey guys,
good to have you, buddy. Good to have you.
Yeah. So Sonny Jurgensen. This is when y'all mentioned that. The first things that come to my mind: Ginger, played for the Redskins. I think he wore number 9. And when I started watching football, he was a very immobile quarterback, total pocket guy. So he might have been more nimble as a younger guy, but those are my recollections of Sonny Jurgensen. And his teams didn't get as much hype and publicity as like Roger Staubach in that group from that day, and I don't know, George Bland and some others, because I don't think they were winning very much.
Yeah, played 18 seasons, Eagles and Redskins. Still with us at the age of 90.
I'm just flabbergasted that you would try and lie and fib to me about something like that. Something like that. Tom,
I figured you would come. Oh, yeah, I remember watching highlights of him from the 80s. I was just seeing
are you
how
trying
far
to bait
we would
me?
go.
That's like that one time that
I was trying to bait you like the former president the other night. Just see if I can bait you into saying something.
You said, what did you say one time? That, hey, Ty, are you going to weld wood? And I was like, can you weld? I don't think you can weld wood.
You asked the question. Can you do that?
I don't think you. Well, as in, I don't think you could do that, but I'm not in welding either way. Tom, let's come back to Arkansas football before we go off the rails. Injuries seem to be an issue right now in the secondary. Marquise Robinson sounds like he's back. He got a stinger right before the game. Hudson Clark, iffy on this game. Jalen Braxton sounds like he's going to be back. And then Patrick Kudus not going to play. How big of a concern is this for Sam Pittman? Not necessarily this week against UAB, but in future weeks to come in the SEC.
Right. Well, they felt like they'd built up some cornerback depth, and now you got Jalen Braxton with the tendonitis/bone bruise. So don't know about him. And then Hudson Clark, it doesn't look like he's going to play, and we haven't heard a lot from what the MRI and CT scan revealed on what's going on with his, head/neck area. So he had just made a great diving pass breakup, and then he had come off his man. So he was guarding Brennan Presley early in the game, he and Danico Slaughter, and doing a good job of it. And then Presley got free a little later, maybe when Danico got a little tired because he wasn't getting some relief from Hudson Clark. So that was a big deal, losing him in that game. And then who else are we talking about? Anton Junkaj at defensive end on the illegal chop block. I mean, the way his knee buckled, I thought he was done.
Yeah. And
he came back in that game, and so for him to even be okay enough to be considered possible for this game is a pretty big deal.
Well, I thought I'm going to be honest, Tom, I don't want to get too grave. I thought he tore his ACL because a lot of times that's why they're trying to get that out of the game, these like chop blocks at the side, because that's how, again, cataclysmic knee injury happened. Presley, by the way, was a teammate of Luke Haz at Bixby High School. That kid's a stud, and it was an issue of Arkansas throughout. Tom, you've been on y'all's message boards at Whole Hog Sports. You've listened to fans this week. What's the smartest thing you've heard following the loss, and maybe the dumbest thing you've heard from fans this past week?
Well, if I'm being totally honest, I haven't been on the message boards. I got too much work to do, and plus, you go down those rabbit holes and start. I don't know. It doesn't feed a good interior to my being when I'm doing that.
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't know. I'll say this. One of the things you read out before I came on was, why isn't Sam Pittman getting enough credit for hiring? I think he is, and I think had they carried on what they were doing in the first half, they would be one of the talks of college football. A, if they'd upset Oklahoma State, and B, the offense is just killing it. I mean, and then you look back at some of the plays they just missed out on, and I think I referenced it on Tuesday, but the pass over in the flats to Rodney Hill in second overtime, that's a walk-in touchdown if he just gets it on target. So they had a huge offensive game, and if they just hold on to the ball, they win it. Mm-hmm. So I would say that, and then I don't know. I think Sam Pittman's job security deal is. And he said going into that game that he's not worried about that. I mean, he's just focused on trying to win. He thinks they have a good team. I will say this. I think that performance brings into a different light what we might think they could do on the road at Auburn, and then the neutral game against A&M, and then the home game against Tennessee. I mean, the schedule gets tough, but if they can play that way offensively and defensively, they'll have a chance to win all three of those games in a row after UAB.
Yeah. Tom, I think it's reasonable to question the passing accuracy of Taylor Green at this point. Do you think Bobby Petrino, with another week of film, a week of mechanical work, footwork, I mean, I'm not a mechanic of quarterback play, but do you think we'll see noticeable improvement to the untrained eye with the way he plays from the position this week?
Well, I just don't know if in 1 week you suddenly, like, a switch totally comes on. I think around 60% is just who he is, and I think they're going to get some longer pass plays than what they had last year. It was a different offense with K.J. Jefferson and Felipe Franks when they were hitting. You know, each year, I want to say they were around 65, 66, 67%, you know, to break Kevin Scanlon's record 3 years in a row. For season completion percentage. I just think the nature of this offense and Taylor's skill set, I think they're going to be around 59, 60% on the season. But it doesn't mean they're a less productive offense. So
and maybe not so much focus on the percentage, but maybe the timeliness. And you mentioned that kind of the wheel route out to Hill. I mean, you complete that one pass. It doesn't matter what the percentage is the rest of the game. You win the football game on that one pass that was low near the shoe top. So, I mean, I just think about the timeliness and some of the bigger throws and the bigger moments were the ones that at least stand out to me that, man, you clean up those 2 or 3 plays, and I think you got a different winner.
You do, and, yeah, there were some open plays. And, I mean, if he can just get that pass out to Isaiah Satania on the crossing route, I mean, that's what a great pass rusher does. That's what Colin Oliver did. He hit Taylor Green at the moment of release, and it sent the play off. And Arkansas has got to get some of that because they were a good turnover forcing team last year. But that one play, it changed the entire momentum of the game. Arkansas was on the march. If they go down and score, it's 21-0. It didn't happen because Oklahoma State created that play. But I just think Razorback fans are going to have to live with there's going to be some great moments where he keeps on bootlegs, where he keeps on the RPO, where he hits guys. But there's going to be a few head scratchers where an open guy, he misses them by a couple of yards. I just think that's kind of built into, the Taylor Green that we know right now.
Tom Murphy with us here on the Morning Rush. Coach spoke earlier in the week about winning one-on-one battles with your defensive line and really getting to the quarterback. Said he spoke to Deke Adams about it. Do you think that's an area we'll say, hey, that was better and that was different this week?
Well, they certainly need that. Look, UAB's O-line has been underperforming so far. They do a quick pass game with Jacob Zeno, but you can still disrupt a quick pass game with lightning quick blitzes, just whipping a guy straight up. They need some of that. They need to bat a ball in the air at the line of scrimmage and pick it off, a diving pick. They need a nickel back to dive in front of a guy on a quick out and pick it off. Landon Jackson's being chipped and double teamed, so he hasn't really flashed yet. And Sam Pittman pointed this out Monday. Somebody on the other side, Nico, Anton Junkaj, Quincy Rhodes here or there have got to contribute and make other offensive lines honor them and honor potential blitzes to try to get Landon Jackson some one-on-one action.
Hopefully that happens. Yeah, they mentioned a need for not just the sacks, but forcing turnovers as well, Tom. We're talking about the secondary. Tom, I wonder your thoughts. Sorey had himself a great game at the linebacker corps outside of that one bonehead play. I was impressed with what Metcalf not just did in the first game, but how much they've talked about him. It sounds like that he's going to play a good chunk, especially with Clark being iffy, if not out for Saturday. What have you thought about his emergence being a bigger key for this Arkansas secondary?
Yeah, it's been a big deal. I mean, it led to the depth. I mean, he started over Hudson Clark, and then you saw Clark and Slaughter splitting time at nickel last week before he was hurt.
Yeah.
He's a physical guy. I think he's instinctive. He's the kind of guy who can come up and hit an Ollie Gordon in the hole for 2 yards. But I tell you, Sorey, you look at that game plan, so many times Gordon got the ball, and where he wanted to go was bottled up, and the hole that he found, Sorey was there to fill it. It happened time and again, and they really had a fantastic game plan, and that's why you kind of hurt that they lost the game, because they had it's like a blueprint type of game plan for other teams to follow.
All right, Tom, last one before we go. We're going to go to the home of the Little Johns in Danville. Single A had this question for you. Patrick Kudis, I mean, a couple weeks ago, it was, hey, maybe this Monday or next Monday. Now it just hasn't sounded good. Are we going to see Patrick Kudis in a Razorback uniform this fall?
Well, I can't answer that question because I don't know the extent of what's happening with his back. I did see him the day he hurt it on the inside, and he was bent over and in pain. But I don't know, what the diagnosis is or the prognosis. Sam Pittman has certainly slow played that deal. They want depth on the line, so I think if he gets healthy, he's definitely going to be back in the mix. I just think that maybe a Joe Moore, maybe Tykees Crawford can be that guy that they can sub in, because they did not sub out on the O-line last week.
Tom, we'll leave it there, man. Appreciate the stuff. We'll recap this UAB game with you on Tuesday.
All right, sounds good.
BetOnline is your number one source for all your betting needs. Get the latest odds, lines, and matchup reports for baseball, boxing, golf, and more. BetOnline continues to be the fastest and easiest way to place your wagers, including live betting and your favorite casino and card games available to play right from your phone. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and get in on the action. Remember to use our promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet online, where the game starts.